recalling Goldberg's kick to Bret Hart from WCW, which gave the latter a devastating concussion that forced an early retirement. Eric Bischoff mentioned that, "I'm looking at Bret bouncing his head off the concrete or the ring post, whatever it was, and if I had to put money on it, I would put it on that concussion occurring on that bump as much or more so than the kick to the head." I'm not saying that to be controversial. I'm not saying that out of disrespect to Bret. I'm just pointing out what I think is something that is at least worthy of discussion if we're going to keep blaming Bill Goldberg for that concussion. Because I'm not sure if this was played in front of a jury, you could convince a jury that that was true. Touching on the recent firing of former NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose over her adult content page online, Kevin Nash said on his podcast, "That's my problem. If you're a 1099, if she's in wrestling gear and she's got the NXT belt, absolutely crosses the line. If she's her, I guarantee you that the person that's on that picture is the same one that's on her driver's license. And I guarantee you that the check that gets paid to that person is not to Mandy, to the wrestling name." I think, again, that's the thing. It's just, you're either an independent contractor or you're not. In this case, obviously, she's not making, I don't think that Mandy would, if she was making 7 figures, be doing anything to subsidize her employment and or income as she's doing right now. Obviously, she's not making enough money. She's not doing anything illegal. It's not like she's a prostitute. It's not like she's not doing anything that's against the law, you know? Talking about Jim Ross's comments regarding John Laurinaitis being let go from WWE, Dutch Mantel made an interesting revelation, saying, "JR talks very seldomly about people that he doesn't like, and this right here kind of surprised me that he talked about Laurinaitis in such a way. There's no doubt that he doesn't respect Laurinaitis with that last comment he made. So if he's out of the loop, I agree with him, he kind of deserves it. I've heard some stories about Laurinaitis and the girls up there in WWE. Some of those girls were really, really nice girls. They've been around guys, but they've never been around a dressing room with wrestlers, and the vibe is different. They're trying to fit in. They're trying to get people to like them, especially management, and he was trying to take advantage of that." When asked if Kenny Omega's AEW contract would expire in January, Dave Meltzer replied on Wrestling Observer Radio, January 30th or February 1st. Asked if Omega's contract was extended, Meltzer said, "But AEW is currently advertising him for the Winnipeg show that's in March. Does this mean his contract has been extended to make up for the injury time, or has he signed a new contract? As far as I know, he hasn't signed a new contract, and I would think if he had, they would have sent out a release like they did for Chris Jericho and Jon Moxley. But because he had all that time off with the injury, I think that they froze it and will extend it." With former WWE star Eva Marie liking a tweet from Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp, where the reporter referenced more returns to the company, many fans reacted negatively to this as they wrote, "No, absolutely not. Now we've gone too far with these WWE returns. I'll be damned if I have to deal with Eva Marie. There have been a lot of great returns to WWE since it came under new control. With that being said, there are some returns that simply must never ever happen, like Eva Marie and Vicky Guerrero. If Eva Marie comes back, a manager role suits her fine, doesn't need to wrestle. I got a feeling, JD from New York, it may be toxic attraction. I know how you feel about Eva Marie as well, just hoping I don't get hate from it. Her looks fit the group, not in-ring work though. Lamal, no way Eva Marie, bio updated to WWE superstar again. Just another Eva Marie, look and no skill. Wrestling fans claim they will stop watching WWE if Triple H brings back AEW star's partner. You don't have to be a good wrestler to join WWE, just ask Eva Marie and Top Dollar. When it comes to appearances at the show of shows next year for WWE from 3 legends, Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio that the main event for WrestleMania in a perfect world is Roman Reigns versus The Rock. It's been the hoped-for main event for this show in Los Angeles for a couple of years. Now we're here. Is it going to happen that way? Dwayne's real life is a lot more than just pro wrestling. Even though obviously he just did Tales from the Territories, Young Rock is all about his love letter to pro wrestling. The guy loves pro wrestling. But the number one thing that he's going to be dealing with this year at the time is not WrestleMania. It's going to be the XFL. And while he will not be making every single decision, he is co-owner. He will be the face. He will be out there having to promote this thing, and and that's a lot of time. As far as what he's gonna do, I don't think there's any guarantee one way or the other right now. So you're talking about that like it's solid. No, it's not a guarantee, because there's too many things going on, and he may get a project. I don't believe he would go in half-assed. I will say that. Am I saying he's not going to do it? No, I'm not saying that at all. And if he's doing it, wow, you have him, Austin, and Cena all on the same show or the same weekend, because they'll split them up, obviously. Cena's not 100% either, by the way, but he's got a movie in February and March, so he's not going to be able to do a lot of TVs. He will do the show if he's available, but it's the same thing. He may have other things going on, I was told. I guess the best way to put it is Cena is a probable and Dwayne is a possible. Austin is probably the surest of the three in the sense that he doesn't have anything bigger going on. It's just a question of how he feels, and he's gonna do what he feels like doing. Staying on the topic of Mandy Rose, the former NXT Women's Champion would be warned about earning fast money from Booker T, who noted on his Hall of Fame podcast, "You really must have the dumbest agent in the world for him to be reporting how much money you make. That is nonsensical to me. Why don't he put how much Uncle Sam taking it out of it as well? You know what I mean? As well as what's his cut? You know what I mean? There's a lot involved there as far as that pop. It's like a boxer getting paid $500,000 for his fight. You think he's getting all of it? Let me tell you right now. They're talking about she's gonna be a millionaire by Christmas. She's gonna have to do a whole lot of naked photos, okay? I'm just being right straight up, okay? And I'm gonna tell you right now. My sister told me a long time ago, man, and this is the God's honest truth. Fast money, go fast. I'm serious. Fast money, go fast. During an interview with Culture State, Shawn Michaels was asked if he would have one more match, to which he said, "Yeah, I've had that final match. No, Father Time waits on no man. I'm good. I'm unbelievably happy with my career, and it is now time to watch the next generation flourish." It seems that a WWE Hall of Famer's contract could be coming up soon, as Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful wrote. WWE sources confirmed that Edge is on a deal with limited dates, which is why he has appeared periodically since splitting from the Judgment Day feud. One WWE higher-up said that the vignettes this past summer were a way to buy some weeks on television for Edge's return, and give them a little more time in order to build to some important matches throughout the rest of the year, which happened with the Balor and Priest matchups. In 2020, it was reported that Edge was on a 3-year contract for 25 appearances and 5 matches per year. However, that was either incorrect or amended, as Edge competed in 10 matches in 2021 and has already competed in 6 matches in 2022. We aren't sure when his deal is up or how many appearances are left on his existing deal. If the length was correctly reported, that deal could be up soon if it wasn't frozen due to injury. We've not confirmed if that's the case. Speaking on the Mike Winmacher show about her husband Miro, Lana noted that we could see a return of Rusev Day. Rusev Day will never die. It's always going to be around. The kids are going to want to sing it, and I'm sure it will make a return in WWE at some point. You know, Rusev will, whenever he shows back in, and whatever freaking name or gimmick or character at some point in WWE, it's going to be iconic, let's be honest. We know that everyone always returns back to WWE at some point. With him being accused of abuse by a couple of ex-girlfriends the other day, Matt Riddle, who is out of WWE for the next few weeks, took to Twitter to write, "I've been working a lot on myself lately and have been saying no and setting boundaries for the first time ever, and certain people aren't happy about it, but I couldn't be healthier or happier. Thank you for all the support." Staying on the topic of a potential return to WWE for the former chairman and CEO, Jim Cornette said on his podcast, "Well, the questions to, or the answers to both those questions have come when as soon as that article was released and that statement from Vince McMahon was in there, the stock price went down a couple dollars. And secondly, well, all we've been talking about for the past couple months now or more, guys want to go back and work for Triple H. So no, I think it's bad creatively because Raw is not setting, or all programs are not setting the world on fire with the ratings ratings either, but at least they're trying to do something to get out of that goofy funk they were in the last little while with Vince. And so yeah, I don't see a lot of the guys wanting a Vince return. The old guys that made a ton of money with Vince and worked with him when he, before he lost his mind apparently, they love him and they take up for him. But I think the guys that were there and having a buck up under all that stuff, I think Vince, for PR, for creative, and potentially just for hiring, he needs to be separated from that situation. But it's his. How can you separate him if you don't want to be separated? I said a couple months ago, maybe it was by now, that he is the kind of guy that he said to Triple H, it's yours now. You're picking the flavor of ice cream, so I'm not going to interfere. Well, that's best for business. And that's an opinion that Vince will have until he changes his mind and he thinks that, well, maybe, damn it, might be better if I did something else and came back or whatever. And then that might be tough talking about it. With Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland a part of AEW and former tag team champions for the company, it seems they were contacted about making a return to WWE. As Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio, there's guys there, Keith Lee and Strickland obviously, they had chances to go back and they didn't. They didn't even entertain it, but a lot of the guys wanted to leave. The guys who signed there, they're guys who really want to be in WWE and just got fired and everything, but can't wait to get hired back. I don't know that those guys have been that beneficial. As previous reports point out that a return to WWE is likely for Chelsea Green, who left Impact Wrestling not long ago, an indication for her comeback was given. It seems her OnlyFans has been taken down, with a notification appearing to say, sorry, this page is not available. Green also created further speculation yesterday, posting a photo from a match she had on Raw against Charlotte Flair. With WWE recently preventing Devon Dudley from appearing at a non-WWE event, which was said to be a tribute to Extreme Wrestling, it's been revealed by the Wrestling Observer that Devon was told that he'd lose his job. WWE did pull Devon from the event, both the live show and the convention. He was scheduled to be in the corner of Bubba Ray for his match with Matt Cardona. He went through John Cone in Talent Relations, who reportedly approved of the booking, and he believed, based on his contract, since he's not a wrestler, that he was able to do things like that. Bruce Pritchard nixed the booking, and it ended up on the desk of Paul Levesque. Hughes has said he was going to do it because he gave his word on it, and Levesque didn't give approval, and he was basically told if he did it, he'd be fired. So he didn't do it. There was no real reason past the claim that they didn't want him in a physical risk, but I'm not sure how much physical risk there is in pulling out a table since he was not scheduled for any physicality himself. It was previously reported that AEW pitched a return to Miro in September, which would build to a match at Full Gear for last month. It was even mentioned in that report from The Observer that people coming from WWE are leery of losing. Miro's wife also recently came out in an interview, saying that Rusev Day will make a return to WWE at some point. Responding to this news of him turning down creative plans in September, Miro wrote on Twitter, "What happened between January and June?" With Angelico, Serpentico, and Luther forming a stable called SAP, the Spanish Announce Project on AEW Dark, the company has been called out for gimmick infringement by an independent tag team called SAT, the Spanish Announce Team. As Jose Maximo wrote on Twitter, "Yo, Serpentico, you effing mark, literally trying to steal our gimmick and name, really? You really think this is going to fly, homie? I hope AEW pays you enough to just do those shows because you can't show up to indies. Good morning, everyone. Just a reminder that Serpentico and Angelico are a bunch of marks trying to benefit from our gimmick and name. Be careful, our fans are not stupid, and they won't stand for this shh." Independent wrestling star Zach Ruby would also take to Twitter to write, "This is BS, Tony Khan. Give credit where credit is due to the Maximos. Gimmick infringement is real. Kinda sad you can't do anything original and have to rip off one of the top tag teams in independent wrestling. Honestly, the SAT is better than the SAP." Talking to TMZ Sports about a possible transition to WWE, Rob Gronkowski mentioned that he wants to work with The Rock. There would definitely be a tag team match. No doubt about that. I just love that tag team aspect of everything. You know, it's my first time, so I really wouldn't want to be on my own doing a one-on-one match. I'll be able to get help. You know, grow into that role of maybe doing a one-on-one match after a couple of tag teams. My tag team partner can help me out with those moves and all that good stuff, but who would it be against? I'm getting put on the spot. It'd be pretty cool to have The Rock come back and either face The Rock or have him as my tag team partner. Speaking about how he's feeling following his dog collar match with Cash Wheeler against the Briscoes, Dax Harwood told the Gentleman Villain podcast, well, the match, the outcome, I talked to Cash about this, and I always wondered why Bret Hart said the match with Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13 was his greatest match ever. I love the match. I think it's incredible. But I always thought, and he's had matches that were technically better than that one. But as soon as that bell rung, we were finished. I knew right then why he thought that was his greatest match ever. And I feel about the dog collar match. I think the dog collar match, and I'm not a gimmick wrestler. I'm not a blood and guts kind of wrestler. I'm a lock-up, gritty wrestler that tries to use wrestling holds or wrestling moves to tell the stories. But after that bell rung, after that last bell, I knew that was the greatest masterpiece I've ever structured and put together. It was a very emotional time for me walking to the back with those guys. It's very cliche for me to say, but it was indescribable. Physically, I feel like I was telling you before we started recording that I still have a huge bruise on my ass. My lower back is in shambles. That's the thing that I don't understand about some of the wrestling today, is that they take these bumps and they get these bruises in these matches and then they get right back up. We're kind of telling people that once you fought for the last 30, 40, 20, however old you are years, it's true that it's fake, but it's not fake when I'm flying home in discomfort. It's not fake when I do get home and I can't play with my 8-year-old daughter because I feel so physically bad. That's one of the things that I wanted to express here, is that wrestling is an art form, and in my opinion, it's the most beautiful art form. But man, it does take a toll on your body. On that same podcast, Dax Harwood talked about Sasha Banks, who is rumored to be making an appearance for New Japan at Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th. I think that, just like me, I feel that sometimes she gets a bad rep because of how passionate she is and how much she wants. You know, she wants it all, but she wants to work for it. That's the same with us. Like, I want everything in this business, but I want to work for it, and I want you to know that I'm going to work hard for you, and that's her, man. She knows what she deserves, and she knows what she's earned, and she works her ass off to get it, and if she doesn't get it, she feels slighted, and she has a reason to feel that way. Huge star, huge heart, beautiful human being, the greatest woman wrestler of all time. I think she's just incredible. Touching on a time he called Sable to offer her a job at Impact Wrestling in the mid-2000s, Vince Russo noted on the two-man Power Trip of Wrestling podcast that Brock Lesnar, Sable's husband, answered the phone first and felt disrespected. I get a call from Kurt Angle, and Kurt said to me, "Vince, what did you do?" And I'm like, "Kurt, what are you talking about? What did you do? What did you say to Brock Lesnar?" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Vince, this guy wants to kill you. You call him to speak to Rena. You don't introduce yourself to him. You don't have a conversation with him. And he says you totally disrespected him, and now he wants to kill you." Speaking about the possibility of making an appearance for AEW, Rebby Hardy told PW Mania that just a couple of weeks ago, I did a show and it was my literal first time in a public ring in over 5 years. Versus Jeff Jarrett there, I was managing Matt. There was some talks of possibly doing some sort of intergender tag match with this girl and me and Matt, but I wouldn't go that crazy. But I would say never. I feel like my place in wrestling is more behind the scenes. I got the 4 kids. I homeschool the 4 kids. I have a legitimate day job. I've got my content creation. It's a lot going on, and wrestling is sort of an afterthought nowadays. During an interview on Cheap Heat, Kevin Owens mentioned how much time is left on his deal with WWE, saying, "Now, I have 2 more years left on my current contract. I don't see a reason why I wouldn't sign another one when it's done, because I don't feel like I'm anywhere near done, but who knows what could happen. At this stage in my career, I really want to have fun and make sure I'm still putting out memorable stuff for people watching. I look back at the career I had, and if it all ended tomorrow, it would be hard to have any kind of regret, because I've done some incredible stuff, and I've been very lucky to do what I've done. Every other show, every other thing I get to experience is a bonus, because I'm not really sure how I can have a better career than I've already had." That's not me patting myself on the back, I'm just saying I've been very fortunate. With it previously reported that John Cena is expected to be at WrestleMania 39 if he doesn't have other projects to work on, it was said in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that the belief is that Cena will be working WrestleMania, but what we were told is that he's working on a schedule to make sure it works, but the belief is that he'll get it done. During an interview with WQAD News, Seth Rollins mentioned how his wife Becky Lynch could choose to pursue a career in acting, saying, "Whether we go wherever she wants to go, her acting career is starting to perk up a little bit, and that's where she wants to go. And so if we end up in that direction and that takes us out west, so be it. If not, then here we are." Speaking about the possibility of Mandy Rose heading to AEW after her firing from WWE, Eric Bischoff noted on his 83 Weeks podcast that, "I would say, Mandy, what are you talking about going to AEW? You're making more money 45 minutes a week than you could make in the next 2 years at AEW. And why would you do that? She's been to the mountaintop. Going to AEW would be a step down for her." And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.